Welcome back to Nursing Behind the Benz. So, today I'm off. I don't know if I said in my previous video, but I work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So, some occurrences have taken place since we last spoke. Okay, first of all, let me tell you this. I was supposed to go in that next day. I believe I recorded my first video for this channel on a Tuesday when I was going home. Okay, I was supposed to go in Wednesday. I called off. That Wednesday, I wasn't feeling well at all. So, I got a phone call yesterday when I was in the bathtub. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So it was a phone number. And it was the infection control at my job. So she just wanted to know, why did I call off and blah, 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 which is kind of funny because you're not human resources, but that's neither here nor there. I told her I wasn't feeling well and she wanted to know my symptoms. I told her I do not have COVID. I have been fully vaccinated. And that's not to say that just because you've been fully vaccinated that you won't contact the virus. But I didn't have those symptoms. I just have a very weak immune system. That's, part of the autoimmune disease that I have. I try to take as many vitamins as I can, but, you can only do so much. So she said, okay, will you be in the next day, which was today? And I said, yeah, I should be feeling, okay. So what happened was I called off today. I was supposed to come in today, so I called off. I sent a text message, and the problem was this. I woke up, usually I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I have to be at work at 6:30. And, I like to take my slow time. So anyway, I woke up and I was dizzy. And I was like, oh, why am I so dizzy? I was so dizzy to the point where I couldn't focus. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and lay back down for a little bit. So I laid down, woke up again. The same thing happened. I was so dizzy, so much so that it was affecting my walk. I couldn't keep my balance. I said, hell no, I'm not going to work like this and crash and I can't even focus and see what I'm doing. So I sent a message, calling off, telling my symptoms. I didn't have to give as much detail as I did, but I did because they were expecting me to come in today. But it is what it is. But I thought it was funny how she called me infection control. Like, I owe her an explanation. I can understand that she thought, my symptoms coincided with, I guess, C-19, but, that wasn't the deal. I feel like human resources should have contacted me. And I told her, the type of nursing that I do, that I normally do, I'm not in contact with so many sick people like here. Usually, I'm in contact with people that have seizures and they're withdrawing from alcohol or drugs. A sniff, I haven't did this since my younger days, so it's going to take some time for me to get acclimated to the patients and the environment, because there's sickness everywhere. The mucus and blood and C. diff, and it was just disgusting. Me even talking about it. So that's my whole thing. But the crazy thing is this. When I made that video Monday, after I, released how I was feeling, do you know I had anxiety that night, knowing that I had to get up and go to the same job again? Now that's deep. I already have anxiety, but it was like amplified just to know that I had to go to work the next day before I called off, because I was sick. Then the next day, Wednesday, I called off Wednesday, but Wednesday, just knowing that I had to go to work. Thursday, I had so much anxiety. I was like, damn, this is serious. Usually I always say, if you dread going to a job, you do not need to be there. And I dreaded going. But, you know, the stress of the situation, me being on my feet for 11 hours, which I'm not used to doing that. I'm used to having my own office and, you know, my patients come into my office. But being on my feet for 11 hours, and my feet are swollen. You know, I got so stressed, I caused a crisis, a rheumatoid crisis. I caused my joints to flare up, and it's extremely painful. But stress causes that, amongst other things. But I was so stressed, I caused that. I had that this morning after the dizziness. About a couple hours later, I noticed in bed, like my joints and my ankles, then my knees and my arms, and neuropathy too. So my feet and my hands were numb, and I'm just like, man, I'm all jacked up because of stress. But I'm like, this is a trip. This is a trip. All from one job. You dread going that bad, and you're so stressed that, you know, you cause your body to go into chaos, and also your psyche. So that's what I was feeling. I'm like, dang, she called me. But the thing is, I'm off for 4 days. I don't have to worry about that right now. So I have some peace knowing that I don't have to go in. But, you know, it's crazy. But I do have a question for you guys. I pose a question for you. And this is real, you know. If you're working for a company and they're bilingual, but you hear them speaking a different language amongst themselves, do you think that is rude for them to do that? I've always thought it was rude. I remember years ago, I used to work for a company, and there was a lot of Filipinos there, and they would speak Tagalog amongst themselves. And I would think, you know, that's so rude. I understand that's your language. I respect it. You know, you guys talk amongst yourselves, but not where people can hear you, other staff who don't understand the language, and you know, they could possibly think that you're talking about them. At this place where I am now, they speak a lot of Spanish, and I think it's extremely rude to speak it in front of people who do not understand, such as clients and staff. It's okay to go ahead and speak your language amongst each other because that is your first language. I get that and don't have no problem with that. But the thing is, when you are speaking that language in front of someone else who does not understand it, they think you're talking about them. And I don't think it's right. I think it's rude. I think it's extremely rude. Sound off in the comments on your views on that. I would really like to know, do you think it's rude? Do you think it's not a problem? Me personally, I just think it's extremely rude. I feel like, you know, now if you have a client, a patient that only understands that language that you're speaking, of course you could speak that language to them, you know, because it's helping with their care. I get that. But amongst each other in a big area or a large gathering area, or even, you know, in a corner where there's someone there who does not understand the language, I think that is so rude. Please tell me what you think about it. I want to know. Am I the only one who has these views? Yeah, be respectful. But let's talk about it in the comments. I just wanted to give you guys an update of what was going on with that situation and how much angst I felt. That's crazy. I always said, if you're feeling that way at a job, you do not need to be there. If it's affecting your mind and your spirit and your body, you're not supposed to be there. So, you know, I am trying to get out of this situation. But while I'm there, I just got to deal with it. I'm going to make another video because there are some other things I want to talk about. Actually, I had a memory when I was in the bathtub. about this company. We'll talk about it in the next video. All right then. Peace.